Welcome back. Currently, we are learning Python, and this is day 17 of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost. And in this video, we will learn about file handling. So, in order to learn about file handling, first of all, we have to learn about how to open a file so that we can perform read and write operation in the file. So, for that, we have to use the open function, which takes two parameters. The first parameter is the name of the file, and the second is the mode. The mode is the mode in which you want to open the file. So there are four modes. First one is R, which means read, but it is the default mode. So if it doesn't provide any mode while using the open function, then the file will be open in the read mode by default. And if the file doesn't exist, then it will give an error. So if the file doesn't exist and we open a file using read mode, then it will give us an error. After that, the second mode is append, which opens a file for appending. And if the file doesn't exist, then this mode will create a file and open it in append mode. The third one is write, which opens a file for writing. And if the file doesn't exist, then it will create a file for writing. And the last one is create, which is denoted by X, which creates the specified file. And if the file already exists, then it will give us an error. So first of all, let's try to read from a file which doesn't exist. So for that, we have to use file equals to open, and here we have to pass the name of the file. So as you can see here in this folder, we don't have any file. So I will try to open a file named example.txt, and I will use the mode as read. And if I execute this code, then it should give me an error. So Python 3, after that the name of the file handling.py, and press enter. And if we go here, you can see file not found error, no such file or directory exists. So if you try to read a file which doesn't exist, then it will give us an error. So let's try to create a file. So for creating a file, we have to use the modus X, and let's create a file. So I have replaced the R with X. Now I will execute the code, and as I press enter, you will see here on the top left side a file will be created with the name example.txt, and it will doesn't have any data written on it. So let's create the file. As you can see, example.txt is created and no error has been printed on the terminal. So this is an empty file which is created. Now suppose I want to create this file again, then it will give me an error. So let me execute this code once again, and as you can see, file exists. It doesn't create one more file. Now let's try to uh, read the content of the file. For that, we have to write some content into the file. So let me write something. So I have written some content on the file. Now let's try to read the content of the files. For that, first of all, we will use the read mode to open the file, and then we will use the read method to read all the content of the file. So file equals to, this file variable can be anything. You can use any variable name here. So example dot txt, and I am writing the wrong name, so let me correct it. After that, I want to open it in the read mode, so I will use R, and on the next line I will print the content of the file. So for reading, we will use file dot read method, and let's save the code and execute the code. And as you can see on the screen, all the content of the file is printed on the terminal. Now let's suppose there is a scenario where I only want to read certain character of the file. Suppose I only want to read the first 5 character, which is hello. I can do that using by passing a parameter in the read method. So print file dot read and the number of characters which I want to print. So here I want to only print the 5 characters, so I will write 5 here and save the code. And as you can see, we have to first of all close the file, and then again we have to open the file for reading it again. So let me just copy this code and paste it here and save it. As you can see on the screen, this top three line are printed using the read method from line number 21, and this hello is printed from line number 25, where we have passed the number of characters which we wanted to print. Uh, Now let's try to print only certain line from the three lines. So as you can see in this file, we are having three lines, and I only want to read the first lines. I can do it using the read line method. Let me just copy this code and paste it here, and we can use the read line method. So by using read line method, it will by default to read the first line of the Python of this example.txt. So let me execute this code, and here let me add some more comments. Uh, Print reading complete file. So by this I am only reading the complete file. Here I am reading uh, 5 character, and on the last I will be reading one line. So reading line. Let's save the code and execute. As you can see on screen, reading complete file, and here it is reading all the content of the file, then reading 5 characters, and it is already reading the first 5 character, which is hello, and after that reading one line, and we are only reading hello world, which is the first line of the example.txt file. Now suppose I also want to read the second line, I can paste the code again, copy and paste it here. So it will print this hello world and subscribe to my channel. Let's execute it again. As you can see, hello world and subscribe to my channel is printed. Now suppose I want to print all the content of the file, so that I can do by looping through the lines of the file. So let's again open the file. Here I will do one thing. I will add a print statement, reading using loop, and now let's open the file, and I will remove these lines. So we'll use for line in. So for each line in file, we want to print the line. Let's save the code and execute it, and you can see on screen all the three lines are printed here. Reading using loop, hello world, subscribe to my channel, share on social media is printed. Now we have already learned about read and create. Now we will learn about append and write. So first start with append. So we want to append some content into the file. As you can see, there are already three lines in this file, and I want to add some more content to it. So I will just copy this code and paste it here, and remove this line and replace the read mode with append. And after doing this, I will use file dot write method, and here I will write some content added using append mode, and let's save it. And after saving it, I will again read the content of the file. So for that I will use the line number 27 to line number 21 to 23. Okay. Let's paste it here and execute the code. As you can see, currently it is only having three lines, and now if I execute the code, it will print all lines. As you can see, hello world, subscribe to my channel, share on social media, and some content added using append mode. And as you can see on the screen, this content is added using append mode. But what if I want to overwrite all the content of the file? I can do it using the write mode. So let me just copy this complete code, and if I use the write mode, then it will remove all the content of this file and will write this one line into this file. So let me just show it to you. So if I now execute this code and press enter, you will see on screen some content added using append mode. It is printed, and then if I open this file, you will see only one line is present in this file. So this is how you perform operations on file using Python. We have learned about the open method or open function, which takes two parameters. The first parameter is the name of the file and the second parameter is the mode. There are four modes: read, append, write and create. Read by default, if we open a file, it is already opens in a read mode, and if file doesn't exist, then it will give us an error. Second is append mode. It opens the file for appending, and if the file doesn't exist, then it will create the file. And the third is write. It opens the file for writing, and if the file doesn't exist, then it will create the file. And the last is create, which creates the file, and if the file already exists, then it will give us an error message. And after that, we have learned the methods for reading the file, how to append the content into the file, or how to override the content of the file. So that's it in this video. I hope you are able to learn about file handling in Python. So thank you very much.